Many thanks for making a day today with me on the marketplace. Welcome back. Now, Consolidated Bank of Ghana, CBG, has affirmed its readiness to improve the financial literacy and to create a safe banking environment through effective media partnerships. This was made known when management of the bank paid a courtesy call on the multimedia group this morning in this report.
Of the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, CBG, has paid a courtesy call on the Multimedia Group Limited as part of a familiarization visit to boost corporate partnerships between both companies. Chief Executive Officer of CBG, Daniel Wilson-Addo, registered the bank's interest in improving financial literacy through the medium of the Multimedia Group.
We're in 2020, we've laid the foundation for a strong institution going forward. And it's now time to grow. And we're coming back to you to say that this growth process will still need the help of the media. So we're looking for a partnership with Multimedia Group. Yes, we have a partnership, but we're also looking to further cement that and to grow what we have already started.
On his part, Chief Operations Officer of the Multimedia Group, Kenansa, affirmed the enthusiasm to partner the bank in advancing social development in the country.
It's not just about the business side and the P&L side of things. Sometimes businesses do a lot behind the scenes, that go to build consumer or client trust in them beyond even the business they do with them, except that often those are not told. Yeah, sometimes these are deliberate, but when people know what some of these brands do behind the scenes, they tend to trust them more and believe in them more.
The courtesy call saw key management of the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, as well as management of the Multimedia Group and editors of Joy Business, exchange best strategies to forging ahead in partnerships when it comes to doing business in Ghana and the sub-region.
Now, the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, CBG, says it has been able to pay about 4 billion cedis of deposited funds since the consolidation exercise began. The institution was established in 2018 after the Bank of Ghana withdrew licenses of 5 banks and merged them into one entity. Since then, there have been complaints from some depositors that they were struggling to withdraw their funds. But speaking to Joy Business after the corporate visit to Multimedia Group, Director General of the bank, Dan Addo, says the delays were necessary to be able to carry out some due diligence before the payment.
Just CBG is a very strong bank. We've built a very robust IT platform. We've established solid core of people who are helping to drive the agenda. We've established strong risk management processes. So we set the stage for a first-class bank going forward. Of course, it's still work in progress. There's some things to be done, and we're doing that as we go along. Now, for us, at this stage of a growth, the next thing to do is to begin to focus on local businesses and SMEs. We're a 100% owned bank. Our focus this year is SMEs, local businesses. And we're coming at it in a different way. It's not just lending, it's business solutions, it's advisory services. It is holding their hands, working closely together. It is connecting the value chains between those small businesses and the large corporates. So if you like, we're going to be oiling the wheels of business at that level.
In the past, there have been several concerns about people complaining about access to their deposits and their transactions or their monies with the bank. What is the situation as you speak? Have you been able to pay those deposits, those who wanted to get access to their deposits, or something that you're still working on?
Absolutely, George, and I'll give you some numbers. As of now, we've paid about 4 billion in depositors' funds, and I'm putting everything here together. But the interesting thing is, because of the strength of the bank and because of what people have come to see, we're finding that we're not seeing an outflow of funds, right? And so that is what is helping us to grow our deposits now, and that's what's helping us to do business. We're actually seeing more people coming in wanting to do business. We're opening a lot of business accounts, individual accounts as I speak.
Now help me out. After paying that 4 billion, these are transactions or funds that have been withdrawn. Are you telling me that there are also more deposits coming in?
Absolutely, absolutely. The fact that we still have a strong balance sheet tells you that as the outflow has gone, there's more that is coming in. So if you like,
were these in existing deposits that you had, or these were fresh deposits that have been brought in post your formation of the bank?
No, it's a mixture. So we had existing customers who've stepped up their business with us, and we have new customers coming in and doing business with us. So it's a mixture.
What is your deposit position as you speak right now?
As we speak now, deposits about 5.4 billion and growing.
Why were there still complaints from some of your customers that they were struggling to get access to their funds? You had some savings and loans that were complaining. We had some other firms that were complaining that they were struggling to get access to their funds. Haven't you completed that due diligence that you're doing on these customers?
See, George, the due diligence took some time to do because of the sheer numbers involved, right? But we had to get it right because, remember, we're also in a fiduciary capacity as regards the funds that we're holding. And so we needed to be sure that we were paying the right person. We needed to be sure that those funds had to be there, you know. And so we did a lot of due diligence, but I'm happy to say we got it right. Mm-hmm. We paid the right people, and yes, there were some. Every now and then there were some, if you like, hold-ups in the process. But then, being a listening organization, as those things came up, we quickly then reorganized the process to ensure that we're delivering that service in a seamless manner. So as I speak, what you're speaking about is a thing of the past, and it's long past. I don't think there are any more complaints.
What is your liquidity position now also? Because we knew that some government papers were issued through the Bank of Ghana for you, and there were even the past were concerns about you getting access to these papers and being liquidated to help your operations. What is the situation in terms of these bonds that were issued, and have you been able to get access to all these papers?
No, absolutely, George. And George, I think we should talk more because it looks like you're not really. Those bonds have been liquidated way back, and that's what we used to run the business. Now, there are quite a bit of bonds, and there's some are still on the balance sheet, but we choose to hold them because of the investment value and the stability they give to us. But yes, of course, the bonds that were needed to be liquidated for us to run the business have been liquidated.
Let's stay within the banking sector because Ecobank Ghana has signed an MOU with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly AMA to beautify some iconic areas within the city. According to the managing director of the bank, Daniel Saki, the 5-year support to the AMA's Accra Beautification Project forms part of the bank's 30 years anniversary celebration, which is due in March this year. Bismarck Ausa has more.
Under the agreement, the bank will adopt and invest in the cleaning and greening of the Africa Liberation Circle and the median up to the traffic light adjacent to the National Theatre. This means that the bank has accepted responsibility to work with the AMA and other service providers to ensure that the adopted area is clean and green. Daniel Saki is the managing director of Ecobank Ghana.
This forms part of our sustainability activities that we engage in on an annual basis. But we believe that we need to make a clear statement of intent regarding this project, which we intend to carry on over the next 5 years. We need a statement of intent because in March this year, Ecobank celebrates its 30th anniversary. This activity will not be in isolation. Ecobank is a bank that is interested in environment. We want to ensure that everything that we engage in has sustainability at the core. And our plan to pick this project falls right within our objectives of making sure that we operate within a green environment.
Mr. Saki has, however, urged other corporate institutions to embark on similar sustainable environmental projects towards the realization of a clean Ghana.
We also believe that if other corporates will adopt similar parts of historic parts of the road or important sections of the road in front of key institutions, working together, we'll be able to contribute towards a substantial greening of a greater part of Accra and give the city a new image.
On his part, the mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ejesowa, pledged the government's commitment to give the capital city a facelift.
Today we can assure you that we're going to honor our bargain and make sure that by the end of the year, at least, this is the financial hub of Accra, and we want to create a significance of a place where money talks, a place where when you walk around, it looks like the EcoBank building. That is the kind of environment we want to create around. And we are happy that we are leading the way.
EcoBank Ghana, in partnership with both international and local organizations, has embarked on several projects over the years towards achieving environmental goals with positive impact. Bismarck Ausa, Joy Business.
Let's now turn attention to the mining sector, and the managing director of AngloGold Ashanti has revealed the company has paid $216 million to local companies, which is equivalent to 80% of its expenditure as of November 2019. This is part of the conscious efforts by the mines to prioritize indigenous businesses in its local content drive. Erica Subonting has been speaking with Prince Appiah ahead of the commemoration of first gold pour from the mines.
Well, when we set out to redevelop the mine, we made a conscious decision through our discussions with government and all that local content, Ghanaian employment, participation of Ghanaian businesses in our value chain was going to be a priority. And so it's not just a plan, it's something we've put in place already. Once we hit the ground running, we introduced the local employment procedure. What the local employment procedure does is to prioritize employment opportunities for our host communities, the youth in our host communities, which we have done. We've also placed a lot of emphasis on giving Ghanaian businesses the opportunity. Since the commencement of the project up to the end of November, we had spent about just over $250 million. Out of that, 80% of it has gone to in-country companies or companies in Ghana. So 80% of that payment, which comes to about $216 million up to November, have been paid to Ghanaian companies. That's just one aspect of it, employment, Ghanaian businesses participating in the value chain. Then you come to what we are doing in terms of our social investments. Already, even before we commenced production, we rolled out a social management plan which we launched in May last year. And already we have results to show for it. As you drove through today, you would have seen the signage at the entrance to the northern side of the mine with the name of the Kwame Nkrumah University Obuasi campus being set up. Last year when we held this event to launch the project, we did say that that was part of our social management plan programs that we had ahead of us. And this year, a year down the line, you can attest to the results. These are just some examples. We're embarking on apprenticeship training for local businesses so that we can build their capacities and so on. And like I said, this is the start, but we would continue to do that. The partnerships that we are building requires that we demonstrate that as we redevelop the mine, we are creating value that can be shared amongst our stakeholders. And it is through local employment, giving Ghanaian businesses the opportunity, as well as our social investments, that we can demonstrate that shared value.
Meanwhile, AngloGold Ashanti targets to increase its mining rate to 4,000 tons per day after operating at 2,000 tons a day for the first year. This is part of the first phase of the Obuasi redevelopment project, which took 18 months to complete for the first gold pour. Global CEO Kelvin Deshnisky also spoke with Joy Business ahead of the official event.
Obuasi, the restart of Obuasi is critical to our strategic plan. We've announced and been tracking the project very carefully over the last year, and I joined the company, I guess 14, 15 months ago, and this was a key development for the company then. It's continued to be, and in fact, it's one of the key catalysts that we've been describing to the market as important to watch as we kind of build the company for the future. This is a fantastic asset.
All right, so we want to join my colleague, Prince Appiah, who is currently in Obuasi to witness the first gold pour ceremony, and he's bringing us live updates of the situation currently going on. Prince, you're welcome to the marketplace. All right, Prince, so has the event actually started? All right, so it looks like we're having some technical challenges there, reaching out to Prince Appiah, but we'll certainly get to him very shortly for live updates of the situation out there in Obuasi. Now, before we get to him,
thank you very much, Ima.
Businesses the world over continue to be on alert as the death toll from the coronavirus increases and new cases begin being recorded. Latest reports indicate over 4,500 cases have so far been reported as the World Health Organization is getting ready to declare the disease a public health menace. Now, the world economy, which has recently experienced a slowdown on the back of a number of issues, is expected to be hit hard by the global health threat. I spoke with Joy business researcher Philip Namfuri earlier, who analyzed the looming threat on the global economy. And it hit the world's economy so bad. In fact, countries like the USA and China had their share. Today is the coronavirus already is hitting stock markets, and it's also hitting the global crude oil prices. I have with me here Philip Namfuri to tell us this time how it's going to impact or how it is impacting on the global economy. Philip, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So how is this coronavirus thing impacting on the global economy?
Okay, thank you very much again. So I'll start from the global market perspective. And you know, companies are evacuating some of their workers from China. We also have a restriction on travel from other countries to China, even from China out of the world. If you look at it, let me use two easily relatable examples. Air travel will be affected. I was reading on Bloomberg earlier on that South Korean Airlines is restricting flights to China. Imagine a company has made projections, an airline company has made projections for flights and is going to receive X amount of revenue from China, from flights to China. If that one cuts, it affects the companies. And you mentioned the stock market. So if that company is also listed on the stock market, we have investors pulling out because projected earnings from that airline company will not come to fruition or will not materialize. Let's look at the hotel business. When people are traveling, they lodge in hotels, business conferences, etc. If right now the World Health Organization decides to make this an international emergency, then there will be some restrictions in how people move about freely. So look at Ghana, for example. If you are going to a hotel, you'll be more wary. And fortunately for us, we don't have the virus in here yet. But imagine what's happening in other parts of the world. It hasn't really spread to other countries in large numbers. I think the last time I checked, over 4,000 new confirmed cases broadly in China. So you see that the hotel business can be affected. And if, God forbid, this virus spreads, you see the panic and fear to create. And it will stifle movement between countries, cross-border trade, etc., stuff like that. So airline, hotel business are just two minute examples of how the coronavirus will affect.
Should countries also be cautious of the financial sector? Is it going to have any impact on the financial sector?
It may have an impact on the financial sector if the authorities in China do not get a firm grip on the spread of this. Once it spreads out of China and rapidly spreads amongst the global economy, then we should be wary of it. But let me give you one example from Africa. When we had our Ebola virus disease between 2014 and 2016, it cost us, or Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, it cost them 4.3 billion in terms of investments that were coming into their country. That was what I got from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the USA. So that's just amount in terms of investments it's lost. These investments can ripple through. So let's assume that the virus is spreading. You normally go and transact business with your bank. All of a sudden you become wary, you might withdraw more than you need, and stuff like that. So all these things are nuanced, but now we haven't seen the full impact of it yet. But if it gets out of hand, we can see some negative effects. You mentioned stock markets, and these things will ripple through the financial markets.
Very, very scary. But so at this juncture, what should global economies be doing? How should they position themselves to overcome the impact of some of these?
I believe that the first thing is vigilance we all need to put in place. Screening people that are coming in. Countries, again, are putting travel restrictions in place so that people don't move freely as a way of curbing. From the Brexit uncertainty, we had the US-China trade tensions, and we had Middle East tensions, geopolitical tensions.
Of the Anglo-Gold Ashanti
to start operating at 4,000 tons per day. Then from 2020 going up, a lot of injections will be done and regeneration of the mine to ensure that it starts operating at 5,000 tons per day. Then in the first life of the mine, which is expected to last for 22 years, the first 10 years of the mine, it is expected that the mine will operate and produce between 350,000 and 450,000 ounces of gold annually at the end of the first 10 years of the life of this new Obuasi redevelopment project of the mine. So that is what is happening here, and we've been engaging the managing director of the mine, the global CEO as well, and they are projecting that they are going to engage a lot of local businesses and local companies to be part of this particular project. And even before the mine enters the second phase, they have paid up to $216 million to local businesses in the first phase of the project, which indicates that the mine is committed to engage a lot of local businesses and do what the government has asked them to do in terms of the local content. So that is what is happening here, and we'll be bringing more to our viewers soon. My name is Prince Apia, reporting from Obuasi.
And back in Accra, following persistent agitation by workers of Coca-Cola Ghana Bottling Company against the removal of the managing director, Seth Eduban, the human resource manager of the company was this morning prevented from entering the premises. The assistant secretary of the local union, George Jima Sapong, has alleged that HR manager is the brain behind the removal of Seth Eduban. Alberta Bisu was there and has more.
Since Monday, workers of Coca-Cola Bottling Company have halted production to protest against the removal of its managing director, Seth Eduban. They wanted Mr. Eduban maintained. According to the assistant secretary of the local union, George Jima Sapong, Mr. Ban has been a major mouthpiece of the workers over the years.
This morning we are protesting strongly against our HR. Our HR, per our detailed investigation, it is so obvious that she's also one of the people scheming and who has schemed strongly against the exit of our MD. And we are saying that no, she also needs to exit. We are still reinforcing the force that indeed we need our MD back. We need our own kind. He's the only individual, only Ghanaian among the executives of Coca-Cola International. We cannot lose this. He's a man full of full of experience. He's a man who indeed can help us as a nation. He said indeed he's not going to allow 150 staff to be laid off. And this he went wrong in the sight of some individuals with their own parochial interests. And we are saying no.
According to the Bachona District Police Commander, DSP James Esiedu, the series of demonstrations has been peaceful till workers prevented the HR manager from entering the work premises today.
They were not violent, they were only drumming and singing. But they made sure the MD doesn't enter the office. So we came to speak to the MD. He listened to us. They also made a concession, and so that is why we are here at this stage.
So did she go back or she also?
Yeah, actually I've been called to attend a meeting, and she needed to collect some documents from her office, and she has succeeded in doing that, so she has gone to the meeting.
Head of Public Affairs and Communications Manager of Coca-Cola, Bethel Yeboah, said the situation is unfortunate and that they were in a meeting to resolve all grievances.
It is unfortunate, but we just want to assure our numerous, customers and consumers out there that regardless of whatever is happening, we are still able to deliver their beverages to them. Like I said, today management, is meeting. The meeting has been going on, engaging, all the parties involved, and tomorrow, God willing, we should be putting out an official communication. They didn't want to allow HR to enter in, but fortunately, we've managed to discuss, and HR is not entering in, but it's just working at our office in airport.
the premises of Coca-Cola Bottling Company Ghana, and workers have been agitating since Monday, which has halted production, and they are calling for the comeback of their MD, Seth Eduba. They said that no Seth, no work. But I have been speaking to management on the other hand, and according to them, there is a meeting ongoing now, and by tomorrow there will be a communication which will seek to resolve this issue. Alberta BC reporting for Joy Business.
Also, we'll bring you updates of the situation as they unfold in our subsequent bulletins. That's it for the marketplace today. My name is Emmanuel Boaji. Have a good afternoon.